You see the passenger is out of the car, and it's starting to fire right now. He's firing at him. Shots fired. You see the guy stepping out. You see rounds hitting the car, and the Downey officer is right there firing at the passenger side, and the passenger fired back at him. So right now we're just going to pull out just a little bit here because you see it's an active gunfight going on right now. He's behind that back box truck. We've kind of moved around to where we can get a look at it here as it goes on. But you see an active gunfight going on right here on Bandini by Downey police officers. This is a murder suspect, is what we were told by the LA County Sheriffs when we first heard about this pursuit coming north on the 710. And now shots fired during pursuit. And at the end here where he got stuck in, the passenger leaned out and started firing rounds. And that Downey officer quickly returned fire as well. Now the car is stopped, not moving as we move back around. Fire's going to move east. Move back around here and get a better look here from behind to see what we have. But it was an active gunfight here on Bandini for a second. We're kind of just watching this as it unfolds. You see additional officers responding in, and the vehicles have pulled away from in front of it. So right now we're have to see what's the status of those suspects are. The officers running up to reinforce their partners. And just kind of watching here. And if we can push it, if it's okay, if we push it just a little bit more to see what we have here. Not sure if what happened, any officers hit her here or not, doesn't look like it. I don't see the passenger outside of the vehicle as I come around. And so let's see here. Driver's hit, but it's starting to move away. Now starting to slowly move away. The officers will get back in their cars, but it's driving away. They're saying what we're hearing over the police radio is that the driver is hit. We don't know about the passenger, and they're just kind of okay. I can't see that. So we're hearing from what the officers saying that they're just 10 miles an hour here on Bandini, moving his way. So hopefully they can get this thing stopped before it takes off again. And officers are just kind of trying to get up as close as they can without getting in harm's way. And quite a gunfight. We're on Bandini, or right next to the Commerce Train Yard. I'll get across street here. We're coming up to, it looks like Downey Road there is what's the next street we're coming to. The guy got out, driver got out. Looks like he's given up. They were on Bandini, just east of Downey Road is the locator here.
Tim, is that a female?
I can't tell. We're such a wide shot here. You're gonna have to help me out with that because of your monitors are a lot better than ours. So,
well,
and we can tighten up now.
I think you can zoom in at this point.
Yeah. We just told to zoom in. So there you have it. Yeah, it looks like a female. Has looks like she's got bleeding on the arms there, but copy. And they're going to hold her there. And then try to get her to come back is normally what they'll do. But you can see that she is definitely hit. They reported that over the radio that the driver was hit. But, man, this thing was flying on the freeway. She was in excess of 100 miles an hour points going through traffic using the center divider and shoulders and things of that sort. So it's a very dangerous pursuit. I'm going to move around to the in fact, I'm going to stick right here for a second until we can get clear because I don't know what the passenger condition is. And we'll go to some video shot during the pursuit. As you see, it comes off the freeway. You watch that passenger get out of lean out of the car with that silver handgun and start firing up towards the police helicopter. And then, as it got onto Bandini, actually Atlantic, that passenger just leaned out and started putting off rounds at the pursuing officers in the car. So it really caused this thing to go from just a pursuit of a suspect to a armed and dangerous and wanted for attempted murder of a peace officer. And when it came to a stop here on Bandini, just east of Downey Road, that passenger leaned out and started firing again, which caused the officer from behind the Downey police car just to open up fire. And there was a straight-out gunfight for a few moments until the car, moved ahead. Now the female driver has gotten out. It looks like they're holding her there. Normally they'll bring them back, but it's unknown exactly what's going on. They don't know if she's armed or not. So they're going to slow it down right now because you've had an officer involved shooting. And the first thing you want to do is slow it down, take everything slowly from this point because everybody's in a very heightened state of awareness. The adrenaline is flowing, so you don't want to make any mistakes at this point. So they'll get an arrest team over to her, get her back to the end. We'll kind of look down to see what's going on with that passenger in the vehicle as we fly over here. I'll slide around. But yeah, it was straight out shootout at the end of this pursuit with that suspect firing from that passenger window. And we're going to kind of keep a little wider shot as we come around here. We don't want to show anything on. And we're hearing from the police helicopter down below, the sheriff's helicopter, that the passenger is still moving. So he's going to be considered, still armed. They're not going to approach anytime soon unless they have enough equipment here to do that, because he's already shown that he will fire at them, and there's no sense to rush it at this point without getting other equipment here to be able to move up on that car. So we'll see how they work it out here. You got a combination of LA County Sheriffs and Downey PD in pursuit. And when we first heard this, we heard it was the Downey PD in pursuit, but we couldn't figure out on their frequencies whether they were the ones in pursuit or if it was East LA Sheriff's Office units in pursuit. So right now we're starting to clear that up, but definitely Downey is here. The sheriff's helicopter reported to us that it was a 187 suspect that they were pursuing, and as soon as they got off the freeway, you saw those shots being fired at the officer behind.
Well, Tim, also, too, we did see that shootout when the passenger shot back toward the L.A. County Sheriff's Department and the vehicle there, and that back window of this vehicle is out as well, so the passenger could have easily been shot several times.
Oh, yeah, everybody in that car could have been shot several times. You saw the driver had blood on the arms and on the back and that sort, so I'm sure with as many rounds that were put back at them after he fired at the passenger fired at them.
It finally came to a point where the car was trapped, had nowhere to go, and again the passenger reached out the window, started firing back at the law enforcement officers that had pulled up behind him, and at that point the officers had no choice but to fire back. Surprisingly, the vehicle moved up a little bit farther, and then the driver, turned out to be a female, she got out of the vehicle. She has now been taken into custody. There was some blood on her shirt. She may have been hit, or maybe blood from the passenger getting on an armored vehicle to show up. And hopefully before that happens, that passenger will just drop the weapon out of the car and will give himself up. But again, we don't know. He may not be capable of getting out of the vehicle at this point.
Yeah, this is, if you're wondering, this is on Bandini, just east of Downey, in the city of Downey. And Sky 5 over this all day, or the last few minutes today following it. As that female driver came out, it was interesting because they had her sit for a second, which I thought was really a great thought on Tim's point, that he was saying that, everything was just chaotic and hectic there for a moment, shots being fired back and forth. But for a second, they slowed it down, kind of to reassess, see what the situation is. Now they have her in custody. What was really dangerous in this pursuit was when this car got stuck in that traffic, and there were several cars in front of them. Then they felt like they were pinned in, or they were, in fact, pinned in by the law enforcement that were following. And he was armed. He could have shot to the right, to the left, really anyone innocent around him. Luckily, those vehicles were able to move out of the way, and then that's when the rounds of fire, the shootout began between law enforcement and this suspect.
And that's where we sit at this point. As you can see, there's a lot of black and white units for both the LA County Sheriff's Department as well as the Downey Police Department. And at this point, it's just a sit and wait until the armored vehicle shows up. And we just only hope at this point that the passenger in that car who has a weapon will drop his weapon and exit the vehicle. But really nothing has changed for about the past 10 minutes.
Tim, you're basically saying there's a really good chance there.
He wanted to make sure officers were up to date with the information as to who this individual is, and that situation, it was very important for them to realize who this person was, possible murder suspect. And again, when we got on scene, we saw that weapon. First thing we did, we told the police helicopter, let those officers know that guy is firing at randomly, firing at people as well as law enforcement officers, and it was just such a dangerous situation. Carolyn, I've never seen it. I'm still mesmerized by what I saw. This was just unbelievable.
And Megan, you talked about how the suspect here was firing randomly, not only at officers but people there. And we don't know at this point whether or not anybody was hit, but we know that there are emergency vehicles off to the right there. I believe it's along Downey Avenue is where we are.
Downey Avenue right here, you can see they're calling fire department. This is standard protocol right now. They are calling for assistance to stage outside the area. They're doing that because they want to render assistance. You know, they're trying to bring the situation to a peaceful ending. And if that suspect is hit and he needs medical attention, they want to make sure that medical attention is readily available once they can deem that situation safe right now. But those officers, they're not going to approach that vehicle. They have an incident commander on scene right now. This individual already showed what he would do to get away from law enforcement officials. So right now they have this area surrounded. You can see all these officers here. I'm going to zoom in on the law enforcement officials. I'm not going to show the vehicle because, again, what I saw earlier was the suspect. He appeared to be incapacitated. Suspect was not moving. I don't want to say he was deceased, but he was not moving at all. And you can see it's still a very heightened situation. We have LA County Sheriffs, we have Downey PD, and most likely we'll have some other surrounding agencies in this area to render assistance.
And Megan, this has certainly affected traffic in the area because as you pulled out and showed us the emergency vehicles responding, and we can see all points surrounding this area, traffic is stopped and can't pass through, understandably, but this is going to cause a lot of people some major delays today in this area.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull this up real quick and then I'll take it off.
Roundabout and turnabout there, but again, law enforcement in pursuit of this car. We know that the driver has already gotten out of the car. She is now speaking with sheriff's deputies there on scene, but very scary moments here early on in the chase. Again, we saw that man there with that gun out the window, just shooting.
Yeah, it was during this chase, and then once the vehicle came to a stop, basically where the vehicle is stopped now, the driver again leaned out and just started firing randomly back, so much so we could see smoke coming out of the gun. I mean, it was just absolutely shocking to watch. And as Megan said, it just took her breath away.
Pulling up here. Is this SWAT arriving here on scene?
Correct. That's one of the many vehicles that our Special Enforcement Bureau uses in situations like this. There'll be a couple more arriving that you will see that look different, but they all are to help bring this situation to a peaceful resolution.
And do you wait for the other vehicles to arrive before moving this one in?
If they have emergency circumstances, or if it is to wait for the other people that are coming.
Well, it looks as that vehicle seems to be the closest of any law enforcement vehicle there at this point. We've not seen any movement there from the passenger side or from the suspect at all. Incident commander makes the move, gives the final call here. We're going to see some approaching of the vehicle possibly at this point.
At Bearcat to the north of that vehicle by the passenger, he's going to block my view here, so I can possibly squeeze in. And right now they're getting the confirmation. They have visual of the suspect, and they can pass along whether or not he is moving. But this is the situation right here. You can see how they've blocked that vehicle, and that one armored vehicle on the passenger side, they already have a visual right now. Let me try to listen in to see what they say.
And we were also getting word that perhaps a robot was coming down to approach the vehicle as well.
Where we're at, as we come around here, you can see how they're set up on this. So I'm going to set up a position over here to where we can watch them. And right now, that one that does right there with them so close, that contains that door. He can't open the door to get out. So he's going to come out. He's going to come out if he can get out. He's going to jump out he's going to get out the driver door. So that kind of contains that side.